Hey everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and I'm back with another review. And today we're taking a look at from Transformers Rise of the Beast. This is the Wave 2 Beast Weaponizer 2-pack of Wheeljack and Rhinox. Now, like the previous figure we took a look at, um, this actually comes from the Japanese Beast Awakens line. Um, but as I've said before, and I'll say again, the only difference is it's the same packaging, same toys. They just put a couple stickers on it for the Japanese market, for the language and stuff. And the reason I went to the Japanese market is that finding these toys has been a little bit difficult for me in the US and for other people as well. With that being said, though, I do believe this particular set has been found in an American Walmart, so they might be getting out there. Um, In terms of pre-orders, this is available for pre-order on Amazon US, but it's not going to ship until August. I was able to get it now from Amazon Japan, where it's in stock. Um, their wave, their waves are a bit different. They have different assortments. Now, right off the bat, I have to say there's a few things I'm a bit little disappointed about in this set. And it really doesn't have to do with the figures per se, but it has to do with the communications from Hasbro. It would have been nice for them to make it clear that there was a set number of beasts that were going to be used in the weaponizer assortments and that there would be double packing. Had I known that Rhinox was going to be included with Wheeljack, I probably wouldn't have bought the single pack release, even though the single pack release has different and better paint deco. You take a look right here, you can tell the single pack release, you have all that heck detailing painted in. The feet are actually the feet are done in a different color. That's not like better or worse, just different. The horns are painted, but you have like all that detailing on the side of the face, not done. Same on this side. Um, it goes through on the bottom. This looks more like I would say how Rhinox appears in the film, whereas this looks more like that mainline Voyager toy. And of course, if we take a quick moment just to transform them, they both transform the same way that we should be used to by now. Back, back, just flip open the sides, flip the backs back, uh, bring the feet down, just like so. No real uniform way to do to, to do the feet. Open it up here, and that's something we'll get to in a minute. Um, close those panels up. They do peg in, and then of course bring the feet down, down. There you go. And realistically, things there. I probably don't have the feet in the exact position the instructions tell you, but even in the weapon mode, you can see that the rotating barrel is painted differently. It actually has paint, whole different layout. This looks more like a poop gun than this. Um, but here's the thing. I mean, the barrels are removable. They couldn't have given us like maybe a different barrel or something sort of like a attachment. You can swap them around, but I mean, for the price, I just think the mainline release of Rhinox is what we should have gotten in this set, or at the very least, a different barrel. If you wanted to do a different deco, a more natural rhinoceros deco, which I can understand, then give us a different barrel, something that looks a little bit different. But, Wheeljack, of course, can hold it. I mean, that's the point of these weaponizers. And in fact, as many reviewers have said, it really does seem like the weaponizer figures are the only ones who can easily, like universally easily hold these weapons. Now, of course, with Wheeljack's arms being ball joint shoulders, ball jointed elbows, there is a little bit of a weight issue. Rhinox is a very beefy weapon, more so than any of the other weaponizers. But there you go. Unfortunately, due to the size of the peg, it is a little difficult to get Rhinox to peg in on it on the other posts, which are on the side of the form. It just doesn't sit naturally. So there is that. Now, taking a look at Wheeljack, there are things I like with this figure better than the mainline deluxe, and there are things on the mainline deluxe I like a little bit better. I think the mainline deluxe is a little less hollow, but this transformation is a little bit easier to do. Although I've been told that on the mainline deluxe, if you split the rear of the vehicle before pulling the feet out, it's a little bit easier. Obviously, also the articulation is a little more limited. You do have waist swivel, but like the head swivel is just that. There's no ball joint. You do have the ball joints in the shoulders and elbows, but as we saw, that can, depending on the beast battle master you're using, can cause things to droop. Ball joints here at the hips and ball joints at the knee, which unfortunately for transformation does lead to some issues in terms of things lining up, because especially here in the knees, you do get a little bit of waggle, and that can affect the transformation. So let's just go ahead and get into the transformation. First step you want to do is let's give yourself a little room, get the arms out to the side, come around the back here. This panel comes flipped up in the packaging. You just flip it down. There's a little tab there, pegs into place. So we're unpegging that just so we can now rotate the waist around. Let's come around to this side and peg the legs together. And then what we can do is flip the feet up all the way. They do snap into place in robot mode, and they just fold up like that. Next comes actually a cool step of the transformation. Bring the legs up at the hips as if they're sitting, but then proceed to bend them back on the hinge joints right here, but then also on the ball joints, and bring it down. And they're supposed to like tab into place here on the back. Basically, the knees peg into the shins, and that forms the back of the van. Kind of cool. Unfortunately, during the course of the transformation, that might loosen up. I mean, we're going to have to do a little bit of a Transformers hug here when we get towards the end. Now, the next step is you want to flip up the chest, and as you flip it up, you want to keep the arms down the side, and then come in on the forearms and open up the panels, just like so. And this is where things get a little fiddly and fudgety. What we're going to do now is using the ball joint in the shoulder and the hinge here, right under what was the chest, we're going to fold the arm in. There's a tab on the forearm that's going to go into a slot right there, where there's a tab right out on the outside of the fist that's going to go into the inside of the leg. And this is where, you might have that back panel loosen up and stuff like that. So just get that in. Um, and keep in mind there's like a little bit of a notch at the top here of the leg that's supposed to, sit underneath the forearm. So just doing that. Came in kind of nice. Um, do it again on this side. Now on my copy of the figure, the tab on the forearm that goes into the middle of the figure kind of has to be pushed in a little. And you just find yourself naturally pulling back on those legs to get those other tabs to line up. So just give it a little nudge. And then, of course, right about here is you want to unfold that front panel, bring that down so you can have the clearance to close the top panels right there. They do sort of peg together, and just, give it a little squeeze there. And then, of course, the final step is after you've brought that panel down, just push it down into place. It'll peg into the front of what was the chest and the top of the shoulders. There's some tabs there. And actually, this went better than it has gone for me. I think that things kind of lined up very nicely, and you have that nice Volkswagen van mode. Unfortunately, the wheels are pegged in, mushroom caps, unpainted, so this slides more than rolls. You need to have like on carpeting it'll roll. The other issue is now that it's in vehicle mode, there really isn't any clearance for the weapon to peg in on the side. It would have been nice if there was like some hole at the top, but I understand if you figure this is two panels coming together. Um, this is just open here. You know, this you would be visible in robot mode, and then this back panel you already have the little slot there. So I understand that why they couldn't do it. So you would just have Rhinox running alongside of it. But now we kind of get to the next step, which is getting back to robot mode. And to be honest, this panel really does. Oh, and almost forgot. Due to the those slots right there are where the panel just pops into place. So it actually gives the front of the van a little bit of a face. Kinda looks like Wheeljack, but not really. And you do have an Autobot logo, so I do think that's kind of cool. Now, getting back into robot mode can be a little tricky because you basically have to unpeg everything, and this front panel does not like to come undone very easily. So the first, what I recommend is just start unpegging the back there. You just get it out of the way, make your life easy. Un Undo these side panels, and you're going to want to actually bring the arms out, which means even though the front panel is pegged into it, you're just going to wiggle it out and get it out of the way. And close up the panel just to give yourself some room. Do it again on this side, and just like so. And you would think now with that freed up, it would be a little easier to get that panel done. And I gotta be, oh, there we go. Yeah, I guess having to do it a few times did loosen it up, but just it pops up like that. Fold it down, and let's straighten out the legs here. And why we have it all open, bring the chest down. There is a tab right here that's going to go into a slot on the inside of the front. Bring the arms down. Keep this up because you need the clearance to rotate the figure at the waist. But once that's done, peg that into the back, and that will actually help secure the chest and the back into place. Finally, separate the legs and then come around, flip the feet around, and snap them into place. And there you have Wheeljack back in its robot mode. Not bad. Like I said, this has actually gone. Usually, people have problems with transforming figures on camera. My issue is off camera, and I expect there's going to be a problem, and then there isn't. But there you go. Uh, Wheeljack back in its robot mode. Fun figure. I think the fact that right now the only other Wheeljack that's available is that mainline deluxe, which is only available in that Target set because the individual release has not been found yet. And again, I'm hearing rumors that it actually might not make it to US retail. Well, that's something I've covered in previous videos that we will see it further down the line in another possibly Target exclusive subline. So, how about we pause and we'll come back with my final thoughts. So overall, I kind of like Wheeljack. I think I was a little more excited for the figure before I got it in hand. There are parts of the transformation that are really cool, but there are also parts that can be a little fiddly. Let me just again state that if you have those little hip joints a little bit out of whack, that can actually make the vehicle mode look more gappy than it is. So you'll just have to maybe go in with your finger and push them out a little just to make sure everything lines up. And then, of course, at the very end, you just might have to give it a nice Transformers squeeze, which we've seen before. But like in other movie figures, but unlike those, uh, I don't think it'll cause the figure to explode or anything. Um, Keep in mind that part of the set of this figure, part of the cost of this set, is a weaponizer that you probably already have and probably like in a better deco. So with that being said, you have to ask yourself if the price of the overall package is worth it. Seeing as how that it's possible that these figures might be hard to find at mainline retail, um, waiting for a sale or something might not be in your best interest. But that's ultimately up to you. I can just present the information. It's you guys who make the ultimate decision. I'm glad I got Wheeljack, and I am looking forward to that RC to see what comes. But I think we are getting to the near the end of what will be the Rise of the Beast mainline toy line. This is again, by the way, a Beast Alliance figure, just so you know. So it is part of that kid-friendly line. But that's about it for the review. If you like this review, like, comment, and subscribe. It helps with the algorithms and telling YouTube that my channel should be exalted and held upon high. As always, I appreciate all the support you guys give me, no matter how you do it, but I do have a Patreon, www.patreon.com/chuckdog1999. You probably know the spiel already, so the link is in the description. But as I always say, if you can't swing the Patreon, $1 a month, $12 a year, your views are more than thanks enough. Patreon is just a cherry on top of an already generous sundae. And you guys have been very generous in sticking with me for over 10 years. Lately, it's been harder and harder to get videos out. Um, Early Starlin reviewers have really dominated the market and taken views away from guys like me. And it's tough because it is a competition with other viewers. And in that regard, I think those guys are gaming the system. So, with all that being said, it's crucial for you to go out and support guys like me and watch our videos, even if you've already seen it. You know, we might have a different take, a different point gets highlighted, or, we have an issue that somebody else doesn't have that you might have when you eventually buy the figure. So, in the end, um, that's how important your views are to guys like me. That's about it. This is your old pal Chuck for Wheeljack and Rhinox. We will see you